Tell me about another one of the things that you're proud of in terms of City Year.
So when we first started City Year, we were trying to demonstrate that young people could do everything, anything the nonprofit sector or government sector needed. The metaphor we used was we were going to have young people be the yeast in the bread of all the other nonprofits out there. So they were baking amazing breads, and the young people would grow whatever they're doing. They could build community gardens, they could work with senior citizens, you name it, and that was going to show that National Service could do all these amazing things. And that was important to the early years and to the development of AmeriCorps to say this is something for many different approaches. But after 10, 15 years of that, we realized that we were really being drawn into schools and that schools really wanted what we were offering, but we weren't doing the same thing in all places. We also realized that our work didn't scale, it didn't aggregate, there were no common metrics. So we were all about showing that National Service was important to the country. And in the beginning, it was about showing that young people would actually say yes to this and that the private sector and the government would get behind it. Now people were asking a different question. Can it actually move the needle on something important?
Right.
Now we turn to young people every day in this country for something important. We call on America's young people to go into the military, to win America's wars, and to protect America's interests. My own nephew is in the National Guard, puts his life on the line. And when he's trained at 18 years of age, they fire live bullets over his head, can be deployed at any time. We take young people incredibly seriously, as we should, in the military sector. And then you take those same young people and you say, can they do important work in domestic service? And people say to me, oh, that's so nice, that program you have, Michael. I say, it's nice, but it actually can get some real things done. So what we decided to do was to retool City Year. You asked the question of some things that I am proud that our team worked on.
Yes.
So 10 years ago, instead of doing this sort of platform, we were essentially an elegant operating system for National Service, running a series of small apps on any given day. It was like, we'll do this one day and this the next, and it'll all change. We stepped back, and over the course of 3 to 4 years, we built what I would call a killer application for young people in service, to be in high poverty schools from before the first bell until the last kid leaves the after-school program at dusk. It's a 10 to 12-hour day, serving as full-time tutors, mentors, and role models, providing all the things that schools want to have in addition to great teachers and curriculum. High absences, poor behaviors, and course failure in math or English. 4 indicators, ABCs, absences, behaviors, and course performance. So we adopted those. 20 years in, we adopted metrics. Suddenly we're a data-based organization, and we put evidence-based practices behind it, and now we have those metrics all over the country. We've built a Salesforce-based database in the cloud, so if you're mentoring me in my vocabulary, you're going to send to the cloud how many words per minute I'm doing. If the next year somebody else is doing it, they can look at what you did with me. We're going to track kids over time, and we're going to use young people to move the needle to get these kids ready so that actually, eventually, high school graduation rates go up and the urban graduation challenge is diminished. Because if you don't graduate from high school, you are 8 times more likely to be incarcerated and 3 times more likely to be in poor health. And it's a fast track to an underclass. We retooled the organization, and in a short period, in 7 years, we doubled in size from the period we got in the first 20 years, based on this new platform of impact.
I remember when you first shared that with me about every person in our country, every young person, give at least a year or 2 of service, right? Whether it's the military, domestically, but serve the country. And I just love that. I think that dream has really allowed you to scale. And you did a lot of innovative things to scale that. I mean, that's an example of a great transformational leader, of setting those big, audacious goals, because they inspire. If you're back there being 20 years old, Michael, and you could see yourself now, what would that 20-year-old be thinking?
Well, when I was 20 years old, that's exactly the year that I got inspired by Leon Panetta to get involved in this concept of National Service. And if you had told me then that I would have an opportunity to dedicate my life to this work, that I would find extraordinary people to work with, that we'd build an organization across the country, have an opportunity to work with people of different backgrounds, much less work with Nelson Mandela to build a program in South Africa. At the time, when I was 20, it was the height of apartheid. I'd say, you're crazy.
What advice would you have for him if you give him one piece of advice?
Maybe don't take yourself so seriously all the time. But also, I would I don't want to let the cat out of the bag to the 20-year-old, but I've got an amazing family, an extraordinary wife and 3 children, and if I could just say to that 20-year-old, you're in for just the most remarkable experience of your life. Have the family that you're going to have.
So here with Michael Brown, one of the epic social entrepreneurs of the world and a true transformational, authentic leader, CEO and co-founder of City Year. It's been a pleasure, Michael. I can't thank you enough.
The pleasure's been mine, Keith. Thank you so much.
Share all your wisdom
Thank
here
you.
on the Virtual Mentor Network.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
It's an extraordinary project.